that have brought unprecedented business to the good retailers. You should have a share of this highly profitable market. Are you getting it? And if not, what should you do about it?
Business has increased considerably in the last 2 years. In my case here, my production would be up 75%.
The hotelier, in order to keep up with this expanding interest, is required to merchandise, bring forth new ideas, new thoughts for people, and to bring to them a range of wine which is quite remarkable and just a few years ago would never have been seen anywhere possibly in Australia.
It doesn't only give me the return on the wine itself, it will give me the return of the customers that keeps coming back because they know that they can find such a particular wine only at our place.
Where you've been taught and shown how to give service to your customers, you will find that this will be of great advantage in running a store of this type.
It's my hobby, besides my business. It's the love of wine, it's the appreciation of wine, of finding the type of wine that your customer wants so that they're happy.
These are the people who are finding the profit in wine, in liquor stores, licensed grocers, bottle shops, hotels and restaurants. They are very successful. They enjoy their work. They find no difficulty in attracting customers. We want to show you their methods, their ideas, the attention they pay to their stock, and how they bring that stock to the attention of their customers.
If a customer requests any line, no matter what it is, we endeavour to obtain that line. Perhaps we may only be able to gain, or obtain, I should say, one or two, but in so doing, we satisfy a customer.
Satisfying a customer is fixing a customer for yourself. The only answer a retailer can make if he really wants business is, yes, we can get it. Can you call back and we'll have it for you? And this need be no trouble to you because the wine companies offer willing cooperation. If you can't get all the information you need about a wine, ring the company that makes it and ask their advice.
We've had a wonderful response from the growers themselves, the winemakers, and we also find that this goes over particularly well with our customers. Different wines from different areas is what they particularly like.
There's another way too of using the wine company's releases to build up your stock, particularly in the matured table wines, as this restaurateur has discovered to his profit.
When vintage runs out on the current wine, they go for instance from 63 to 64. If we have some left of the 1963, what we do, we don't sell it straight away. We put them on the side. We could keep it, for instance, for 3 or 4 or 5 years too, because it doesn't mean because it's a current wine, it's not good. It's still a very good wine, but of course it's not aged. That's how we build up really a private bean wine list with private bean wines, which some of them, quite a bit of it, is matured by ourselves from the current wine stock.
The most important thing, I think, about building up a stock of wine is that you understand the wine yourself. And when I say this, you must enjoy a bottle yourself each night. You must be able to appreciate the wine, understand the full-bodied or the lighter style wines so that you can turn around and be helpful to your customer on the style of wine that they want. Now, many a customer may come
Your stock, of course, has to follow the needs of your customers. There's no point in ordering a dozen of a wine when you only need 6 for this ordering period, or 6 if you only need 3. Costly over-ordering can happen if you don't have your order list ready for the traveller, or if he calls when you're busy with a customer. Make sure he understands your requirements as you understand your customers. And once you have the stock you need, the way you display it is of the utmost importance.
I'd like to speak about these racks to you. You'll notice here that we have wines laid out up here. Well, these wines are in each one of these bins, but there's a dozen of each in each bin. you have 4 wines up here, there's 3 there, there's 3 different ones here and 3 different ones down there. Now, if a customer comes in and asks for a bottle of this wine, there's nothing more annoying if you haven't got a half a dozen or a dozen for them here when they come in. Well, we just make a note, that's number 5 there. We know to go to number 5 position and we can get a half a dozen or a dozen if they want them.
You have it fixed up like a library.
Yes, well, this is the way we look at the selling of wine here. When you go to a library to buy a book, the person looking for a book likes to browse. Pick up the book, read on the inside of the cover, and then possibly decide whether they'll buy that particular wine. In this way, we find our customers like to browse because this is a little bit like a library. They can come in, select, look, read. I don't think there's anything more annoying than a person coming in to buy table wine and they've got to stand up to a counter that they can't approach the wine and see what they're buying or handle the wine. This is half your battle when the wine is sold once they can handle it. It's not much use having it down in your cellar or outside in the storeroom. If you're wanting to sell it, put it out on display.
You're merchandising it just like groceries.
Well, we use every sort of way. Here we're using a self-service trolley to merchandise wine. You'll see the tubs there. There is another section of some other bins over here. They each hold 12 dozen.
I think this is the best method of display. We have had other systems, but in this particular case, the customer can go along, handle the wines and read the stories. We feel that by condensing this to hold approximately 1 dozen bottles, this is by far the best method. Cases such as this, where the bin is too full, this is not good, insomuch as the customer can walk past without actually seeing the particular wine. A bin such as this is ideal. The customer can see the label and immediately they are interested in a particular wine, or they at least know it's a wine that they have had before and they can pass it on, but they have at least seen this particular wine. The labels are clearly seen, and the vintage, every piece of the story of the wine is visible to the customer.
And this is a way of educating your customer.
This is the best way, I feel, yes. This way they can pick the winemaker, they pick the area, they pick the vintage, and they get the blend. This is a great assistance to them. It helps them a lot, and it helps us to help them.
What if you don't have the space to bin a lot of different wines? Your shop is small, your stock of special lines is small. If every time they come to your store they're rewarded, then you are doing good business. This is the use of the gimmick. The gimmick can aid your sales, and gimmicks can take many forms.
I suppose you could use an old bathtub. One of these old porcelain bathtubs in, fill that up with wine. People say, goodness, what's that? But they would stop and look, and you've made sales. No, the gimmicks can be very simple. They don't need to be, shall we say, expensive, nor need they be elaborate. Quite simple. We call them stoppers, so the person walking in walks along, gets his eye on something, goes back to it, then reads the story. Once you've got him to read the story, you've got him. These gimmicks can be such things as scatter bins, cut down barrels which can be placed in strategic positions, bottles thrown in holeless bowlers so that the customer can pick them up, select them as he reads the label himself. It can be in the nature of large old gilt picture frames which can be dressed up attractively, and the bottles shown off as though it were a picture. This is the sort of thing that we have found extremely successful. Pricing should be clear. Let's incorporate with a gimmick. Let me show you how. All you need is a simple white card which you would fold in half, so, with scissors or a razor blade, cut a V in the paper, and then, and here ingenuity comes into it, write a simple message on the card, so, clearly mark your pricing and place over the bottle in this fashion. Now, who could resist such a temptation?
This is the kind of sales aid you can use all the time, as long as you keep your show cards fresh and clean looking and the message up to date, simple and interesting. And when the special events in the year come around, then you can make your special efforts.
You have Christmas, Easter, you have the kosher season, you have Melbourne Cup time and Christmas. Now, with these special events, well, we package baskets. We buy in dozens of different shaped baskets, as a matter of fact, like this, which we package up with a variety of wine, and we usually like to give personal service over these in selecting what the customer would like to put in it. As you can see, there's champagne, claret, Riesling, and it's just a little bit of cellophane over the top, a little bit of tinsel, a ribbon around it. This is wonderful, particularly at Christmas time. We sell hundreds and hundreds of these baskets, which we deliver free for the customer. All they do is just bring in their card into the shop. We put the card inside and we send it to them.
It's this kind of service that wins new customers. To find your profit in wine, you need to pay close attention to your customer relations. Your customers need help, and if they get it, they will help you. Help them to choose their wines. Suggest new lines to them that you feel sure will please their palates, whether the line is a table wine or a sherry, a dessert wine or the flagon wines.
We have quite a large range of fortified wines and dessert wines, and I feel it's very important to have at least the more popular lines of each and every winemaker. Much the same again with our flagons. We carry a very large range of flagon wine, once again, to give them wines to choose from. In most cases, we know their likes and their dislikes. We know the areas from which they like their wines. We know the blends which they like. And if we receive a wine that we feel is of some interest to a particular customer, we will phone him and advise him of such.
What special selling tricks do you use?
Each Saturday morning, we have a tasting whereby we open a different wine each week. This enables our customers to try the wines prior to purchase, and once again this assists us in so much as we know then if this wine is acceptable by our particular customers.
This is satisfying the customer, who can try before he buys and thereby help your profit, since every bottle you open can sell 4 or 5 dozens for you. And you get a very sound idea from your customers' palates of the kind of wine you should stock. What wine you like, even though you know it's good, may not be the best wine for your customer.
And of course, the customers help me in a lot of ways, because there is a lot of wine that we don't know much. And customers comes in, they say, oh, this particular wine is very good, why don't you try to buy it? And why don't you have it? We buy it, and we see that it's not only a particular customer that after likes it, there is few other customers which they ask for such a particular wine. And this is how we build up a stock of different kind of wine.
So your customers can help you just as you can help them. Your kind of help can range widely. It may be in offering them a range of glassware to help their enjoyment of the wines they buy from you, in displaying bar accessories which are in themselves decorations for your store and inducements to the customer to buy other beverage lines. Let your customers know of the services you offer them, from free delivery to your own mailing lists featuring your complete range, your special suggestions. Use your telephone to keep in contact with your customers, advising them of new lines, new features, new services, new information on wines. You have to keep in touch with your customers and stay a step ahead of them, at least in the knowledge of your merchandise.
The customer is the most important person in our shop. You've got to be able to appreciate the wine yourself, to find out what the customer wants to make her happy. I feel the most important thing is that a customer immediately, when they walk into the shop, they must be given immediate attention. This is #1 point that I like to supervise immediately they come into the shop.
The message is a simple one. If you pressure a customer, you lose a customer. But courtesy is something else again. When your customer comes in, greet him, direct him to the line he's seeking. Greet the next one, then return to the first to make the sale. You must know this approach. Your staff must know it too.
We're going to pour 2 sherries and bring them round to you. These are 2 in good condition, and in fact 2 very pleasant sherries, just so that you can look at them for yourselves and then give us some idea what you think they are. This is similar, of course, to what we've done previously with the white and red wines.
So we have many of our staff who have been through the wine service skill course, and this has been a tremendous advantage and weight off my shoulders, because in the staff understanding the different wines and getting the more knowledge of the wine, it makes them able to converse with the customer. Half the pleasure of selling wine is understanding wine, and I feel that with the Wine Service Guild course that I think 5 or 6 of the staff here have been to, has been a great advantage to the selling of wine here in these premises.
To understand their palate.
Understand their palates, yes, because the more wine if you can sell them a wine that they really like, it means they're going to come back and buy it in quantity. It's not much use picking out a wine that's a little bit acid and they're wanting a soft, lighter style wine. They'll probably won't come back again, but if you've picked out a wine that they have liked, they'll probably come back and buy it in quantity. I think the most important thing with your customer is to keep in constant contact with them.
It's nice for a woman to be able to come in and discuss with me her problems of perhaps what wine she's going to serve at dinner tonight. Another thing that is, I find, a help, I'm always full of enthusiastic ideas for gift giving. I find usually that the customers enjoy my enthusiasm because I love it so.
This is your profit in wine, this love for wine, the care for your customers. Don't order more than you need. Carefully select the stock your customers require in the quantities your budget allows. Then use your imagination in displaying that stock. Learn from the men who are successful.
It's the appreciation of wine, of finding the type of wine that your customer wants.
If a customer requests any line, no matter what it is, we endeavour to obtain that line.
The customer is the most important person in our shop.
Put these things together and who knows what new customers you might get.